Okay. Want to welcome everyone who is joining us live in this special edition of our Halftime Chat R&B Podcast, a live version. I've got a Kenji, um, actor, writer, producer, and dedicated and the Jackson fan. We are going to be discussing the Triumph album, and and especially as we count down towards the release of the Michael autobiography. But I'll start off by saying hello, AK. What have you been up to, and how have you been?
Good, thank you. Just working quietly working, and that's all I'll say. It sounds cryptic, but it's just how I get down, man. Just working. Happy to be working and doing stuff, but well,
Okay.
thankfully, in a time where the world is a bit mad, it's good to be doing stuff, man. How are you doing?
Yes, doing well, doing well. And are you in London? Are you still in Los Angeles?
I'm still in Los Angeles, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've just had lunch, so I'm just trying to make sure there's no food around my mouth. You know?
Okay.
There's no hair and makeup
Yeah.
with halftime chat.
Yeah, you had lunch with okay, they've taken you to lunch, the very Hollywood thing, right?
No. Just took myself to I'm working from a
Oh,
Hollywood lot.
studio. Okay.
Yeah, from a lot. But there's a nice canteen here, so I can't
Okay.
complain.
Okay. Hey Ezekiel, how you doing? Well, we can go straight into this.
Sure.
What is your memories of the Triumph album?
So I'm going to be really honest about this, and I thought about this as we were gearing up, because I remember you were like, "Oh, let's do the Triumph album." Triumph doesn't mean the same thing to me as like Destiny does.
Wow.
Yeah, it doesn't, because I got the album later. Like I had some of the singles as a kid. I had Can You Feel It? I mean, you have it on like greatest hits collections type of thing, but the actual body of work I got much later. I actually had the Jacksons live album before I had the Triumph album. So their live album actually covers a lot of the songs on this. I It's sort of sacrilegious because we're covering it. I prefer Destiny
Wow.
as like a collection, but I really appreciate what this is, and what this is as almost like the direct sequel to Off the Wall, or the continuation of that. But it's a great album nonetheless. But if you're going to ask me about my favorite Jacksons, not Jackson 5, Jacksons group album, this I'd kind of put Destiny at the pinnacle.
Wow.
I just think all the elements came together for Destiny, but this felt like a victory lap, no pun intended. But it's a great album nonetheless. I mean, we start off with a banger with Can You Feel It? That's like one of those signature Jackson's records. It's like a proper signature Jackson's record. But it is also, it's a like late stage disco record, but also the message of it is like that kind of bringing the world together, kind of brotherly love, humanity kind of record that like Michael's later work would be synonymous with. But it's a great way to start an album. So I'll tell you.
Yeah. Emily, welcome, and Michael Ray, how you doing? Welcome. They're all saying hi to you. Okay.
Hello. Hello.
I would say that I did prefer this album to Destiny,
Interesting.
and
Well, not even interesting. I think that's like super valid. It's like, which one of your kids do you prefer? It's like they're all
yeah.
good, you know.
No, because I think when I was a kid, this was probably I think I remember elements of the Jackson cartoons as a kid, and I mean reruns. I must admit, but I think the first impression I remember of the Jacksons was this album and the video of Can You Feel It?
Oh,
Because in the video they were like giants, and so as a kid I was just like, wow, look how big they are. It just
yeah.
because I wasn't into music at that age, but just watching them just pouring out some stardust around the earth, it just felt, I can still remember the feeling of
Yeah.
special effects were just coming in. I hadn't really seen Star Wars and all that stuff. So to see this video, and I couldn't even understand what they were singing about.
Yeah. It was very of that era, wasn't it? Like late 70s, George Lucas, Steven
Mm,
Spielberg. And my first time seeing the video would have been the Moonwalker video. Whenever you put this sidebar up, I have to ignore it.
yeah.
Whenever you put this, because I get distracted because the
No,
chat
no.
has always got really good things to say. So I have to like purposely ignore it because it throws my already chaotic brain into overdrive. So I'm sure people are saying great things. I'll
Yeah,
look at them in a
no,
second.
don't worry.
But Can You Feel It? I first saw there's that little medley retrospective on the Moonwalker cassette film, whatever,
Mm,
and you're just seeing that amazing video or mini movie, as Michael likes to call
mm.
them. And then the first time I saw it properly was years later. It's when MTV used to do the Michael Jackson weekend.
Oh yeah,
They
yeah,
would
yeah.
do it occasionally, whether it was in the lead up to the History album dropping or whatever. They'd have a whole weekend dedicated to videos. I think one year it might have been. It was probably during the release of History. Tito, rest his soul,
Mm,
hosted from his house. So you had 3T.
wow.
3T had just come out and
Okay,
all
yeah,
of that
yeah.
type of stuff. And then they hosted from his house, but they showed the Can You Feel It video in full. And it was like a 5-minute long video with a big sprawling intro
Hmm.
and amazing special effects.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
yeah.
And it's such a I said to myself that this was my favorite heal the world type song that Michael did.
Mm,
Because there's
mm.
Heal the World and Man in the Mirror, but I thought that
An Earth Song
Earth
and
Song and all that. I mean, yeah,
yeah.
they're all really good,
And
but I
Lost
think
Children, and
yeah,
he's always got them kind of records.
but there's something about the triumphal entry of this song, dum
Yeah.
dum dum dum,
Dum
and
dum
it
dum
just
dum 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 dum.
yeah, and yeah, it's and then watching them perform at the 30th anniversary on September
Mm.
the 10th or so
Yeah,
in
around that
Madison
time.
Square Garden, and they
Mhm.
all six of them, Jermaine, came back and said, "He did humble
All,
pie coming back."
all my brothers, including Jermaine, as Michael Jackson
Yeah,
loved to say. All my
yeah.
brothers, including Jermaine. That was his. Someone needs to come up with a book called "All My Brothers, Including Jermaine," because that was just like Michael's, like a subtle dig at his brother. But yeah, they were all performing it. Just as a sidebar, I wasn't a fan of that 30th anniversary, that 30th
Oh,
solo anniversary. I didn't like
oh,
it. I hated it. I could, and in hindsight, I know why as well. Because when you hear stories about Michael being like heavily medicated, he almost didn't make it to the show. I'm not a fan of it at all. Fans are going to fillet me, but I'm like,
no, I think there were two parts of it. I think the first half when he had all the guest appearance and stuff
mm,
could have done without. But when he had his brothers, that was their last performance, all six of them ever, and then he did
yeah,
his
yeah.
his melody and stuff.
Yeah, I
But
think. Sorry, I'm going off topic, but that just because that I really didn't like that show. I didn't like what he was wearing. I didn't like the. I thought the kind of Usher piece was cool because Usher is like very much in the lineage of Michael, but I hated seeing NSYNC on that stage. I kind of felt like everything wrong with Michael Jackson, the latter part of Michael Jackson's career was there on that stage, like bringing out NSYNC and bringing up Britney was on stage, wasn't she as well?
the way you make me feel, so she was
Yeah,
the
I'm like, why is
girl.
Britney Spears there? I don't care how big she is. It sort of felt like all the wrong people were there. Usher makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Whitney makes sense. That's great.
Oh
But the
goodness, Whitney wasn't
NSYNC and
well, she wasn't
Britney
in a good
stuff,
space at that time. Yeah.
no. Anyway,
Yeah. I
let
know.
me I had to flush that out my system.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I hear what you're saying about that performance because that was probably like the first. That would have been the last time that they all performed together.
Yeah, and there's six of
Yeah,
them. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, it
yeah.
was six of them. I mean, but so yes, definitely. Can you feel it was definitely, and Blackstreet covered it in their family album, but it was definitely such a triumphant
They
stuff.
did, and Charlie Baltimore covered it, and I think
Ah,
Teddy produced that. Charlie Baltimore, who was
okay. Yeah, she was on Rock
Biggie's.
Biggie. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
She
yeah,
was on
yeah,
Entertainment. She was on Entertainment. She
yeah,
was like one of
yeah.
Biggie. She was Biggie's ex-girlfriend and all that type of stuff. But she had a cover of it, which was really good. I thought,
Mm,
really good, because that whenever you take Michael songs of the really tough songs to cover,
mm,
particularly if you're taking the chorus and all that type of stuff, when
mm,
you just sample it, like De La Soul had Break of Dawn, and Kanye cut up I Want You Back for Izzo, and there's samples, but where you take the actual a song as big as Can You Feel It and
mm.
do that, it's a really tough task. But yeah, a
Yeah,
few people have covered it.
yeah, yeah. So definitely,
Yeah.
Michael and Jackie writing it. I think it was different because when you listen to it, then you hear Michael comes in very soulfully, and I loved how he, you when think of Boys to Men, where they all start and Wanye comes in. Okay, let me show you I'm the guy.
Yeah,
So
let me show you. Yeah.
I like how they started softly, and then Michael comes in with his soulful voice, and he's riding off the success of the wall. So he's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
bringing something extra
It's
to it.
electric when he shows up.
Mm,
It is electric when he shows up. He's brought some tricks with him from Quincy, from No Sessions, and it's electric. You could just feel it, because I think starting it in that lower register,
mm,
and then you just hear his pops, his whoops, his clicks, his hiccups, the kind of real
mm.
trademarks of Michael's vocal. It's just really electric. You can feel, and that's the thing about energy being transferable. Like that is on wax, and I
Mm.
felt something from it. So it's a great performance by him.
But also the fact that they produced the album themselves. I mean, I think
Mhm.
they found like, okay, their groove. It's Michael, Jackie writing stuff, Randy writing stuff. Well, it's only the three of them: Michael, Randy, and Jackie,
Mm.
um, writing stuff on the
Yeah,
album. And it
and their
wasn't.
bass player Mike McKinney, I think it's Mike
Yeah, he
McKinney.
he
He wrote
co-wrote Everybody.
Everybody. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, he
yeah.
he he co-wrote that. Um, did but the first single on the album was no, Lovely One.
Was
You
that the
are
first
my
single?
love. It was the first one that was released. You are my lovely.
That is an interesting. I didn't know that. I
Yeah,
mean,
the first video. Maybe it's I don't even. The first video was definitely the one that everyone saw was "Can You Feel It?" That, and that was
it
probably the
was
big.
lovely. I think that's the only video they released from this album. Was Can You Feel It? But yeah, Lovely One was the first release, and
Mm,
then Heartbreak Hotel, or This
Heartbreak.
Place Hotel. That
What did you
is
make
really
of?
interesting.
Yeah, what did you make of Lovely Ones?
Lovely One's fine. It's like, and it's so funny that is the that's the lead single, because it's fine. It doesn't do anything like, if you think about as far as lead singles go, particularly for um, Michael's catalog and the Jacksons catalog. You think Blame It on the Boogie was the lead single from
Definitely.
Destiny, I believe.
Mm.
Yeah, it's really interesting choice. It sort of fits in the kind of thing of it's not as middle of the road as The Girl Is Mine, in terms of the Thriller release.
Oh, the
But
filler first, yeah.
yeah, The Girl Is Mine was a real left hook, like non sequitur kind of thing to kind of drop for Thriller. But Lovely One's fine. It's a cool danceable groove and all
I
that,
wonder
but
if
it didn't.
they were trying to piggyback off of
Thriller.
um,
Oh, so Off the Wall.
off the wall, so
Yeah,
coming with that kind of a vibe from
yeah.
that.
And it's a great kind of dance record, and it's cool. Great string section as well.
Mm,
So great horn section rather. I
mm,
really love the horns and the arrangement. It's cool, but it's never been one of those that has like hit me in my chest and
yeah,
made me
yeah,
go.
yeah.
It's totally fine. It's one of those that if it's on in the background, it's inoffensive. It's like cool, it's jamming.
Ineffective.
Yeah.
Ineffective. But
But
the
what I
thing,
love as
go
well.
ahead. Uh-huh.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, yeah, no. I was just saying that this wasn't the era of Michael had those big singles like Thriller, like
Mm,
Bad, and
mm,
you know, this was, they felt like just release stuff on the radio. Let's try and sound something like similar to what Michael's doing. Because of
Yeah.
definitely, if you were, most people would assume that Can You Feel It would have been the first
The
single,
first single,
big
exactly.
video, like all six brothers, all,
Yeah.
all the brothers in there. That would
Yeah.
have been the biggest track. But I just think they just were doing longevity. They were thinking, let's take our time with this. Let's not rush it.
Yeah, and because albums had like a long tail, as it were, you would release. This is a 9-song album, so you you kind of want to get people with the singles in the hope that they'll buy the album as well. So you're right. You don't want to start with your heavy hitters. You kind of rock them to sleep, so to speak. You kind of bring them in gently,
Yeah.
gently, gently. And it's quite interesting. I mean, this is a totally fine lead single, considering you could get away with it, in that time, knowing that we're going to release 4 or 5 singles. The fact that Can You Feel It is the only one with a music video kind of makes sense, because I kind of can't see, apart from This Place Hotel, I don't think of the other songs in the same cinematic tradition as either Thriller, Bad, or even Rock With You or Don't Stop Till You Get Enough. I can't imagine the video treatment for those songs. The only songs I can imagine video treatments for are This Place Hotel, Can You Feel It, Time Waits for No One, which kind of you do a kind of She's Out of My Life kind of
Yeah,
thing with that, I don't, my brain doesn't go to video treatments, and maybe everybody would get a video, but
I think what I've just noticed is that
Mhm.
Lovely Ones came out I mean, the album itself came out at September of 1980. So Lovely Ones probably came out around the summer of 1980.
Exactly, to warm them up.
She's Out of
To
My
warm them up.
Life was released April of 1980.
Yeah,
Girlfriend was released July of 1980.
yeah,
So I'm thinking that there was, and they're both on Sony, and I'm
yeah,
thinking that Mike's saying, "Look, guys, I'm doing this album, but
yeah,
you can't then diminish, impact on what's going on with
yeah,
Off the Wall by
yeah,
releasing videos that would then start confusing."
yeah.
So
Yeah, probably. I mean, look, he only did 3 videos for Off the Wall anyway, and I think it was 4 top 10 singles from that. So it was Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, Rock With You, Working
she,
Day and Night,
she's
and
out of my life.
She's Out of My Life, was that released as a single as well?
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Well, they
yeah.
had,
Remember the
yeah.
video? Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, but in terms of the singles that were released, I think it was 4 of them that came out from Off the Wall.
So no, in the singles they have even
But
Girlfriend was released.
Girlfriend came out, but Girlfriend came out. Girlfriend wasn't
Oh,
part of that.
UK. It was only the
Yeah, I
UK
don't. I
that came
also
out
don't
as
think
a
that
single.
hit top 10, did it?
No.
No. But with that said, you're probably right. There was probably a conversation between the brothers, like, "Yo, let's have a plan for what's coming out first." You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, if we go track by track, then
Mhm.
Your Ways. Do you remember that then? And
Yeah,
Jackie.
Jackie wrote that one
Mm.
by himself, and it feels like something that he would have and could have sung, because it's like Michael's in that kind of falsetto range, which Jackie out of the Jacksons, that was his stock in trade. Well, like, when he was younger, he would always sing the kind of falsetto higher parts. If Michael wasn't singing, if it wasn't a lead sung by Michael, Jackie would sing those higher parts. Like if you think about Mama's Pearl, that's a great example of Jackie's falsetto. But yeah, it feels like it's no surprise that Jackie wrote that, because it feels like suited for his voice more than
Mm.
Michael's.
Yeah.
But
But
that was cool.
and I think that's the one thing I liked about this album was the fact
Mm,
that they were getting the opportunity to shine. And it wasn't,
mm,
okay, Michael, you've just sold 10 million Go ahead and tell us what you need to be done. It
Yeah,
was like pretty much everyone getting involved.
it was a group effort. It was a real group effort. Everyone's singing. I think I can't. There's a song later down the line like Marlon gets a lead vocal. You know, Marlon gets the rock on lead vocal, and it's fine. It's totally fine. You know, and it isn't just like off the wall part two. You know,
Yeah, and the thing of it, I mean, we also have to go back to the fact that this album did 10 million worldwide.
crazy,
They did 10
crazy.
million worldwide. You know, and I don't know if anyone saw the little reel promoting this album, and there was a video with Wanda Troy. So Troy is a big videographer
Mhm,
for the for the Jacksons, for Bobby Brown, for Ralph.
mhm.
And so he tells this story about going to the Triumph tour and being carried on his shoulders by his dad.
Wow.
And, you know, just being a fan of the Jacksons and then just seeing them all perform in an arena compared to the stadium, and
Mm.
just that feel, and especially after Michael has just done Off the Wall. You know, I think I don't know what it would have been like to see the brothers perform like that. Um, this one seemed more out of love compared to Victory, which was the film would show it's the dad that needed some, you know, let's get some money, let's do the Victory
Yeah,
tour. But
yeah.
it felt like this tour, when you see clips of it, Michael didn't feel like he was, I'm the big star now. You got it. Felt like they were brothers, and it
I
felt
felt
like a
they
family.
were still together. I think this was even if yeah, when you do watch tour footage, BTS or them being
Mm,
interviewed by there's a 2020 interview that they did for ABC. Sylvia Chase did it, I think, and she's talking to Michael, and they're talking to the brothers on the road, and you get the feeling that that he's still in a space
mm,
where there's joy in the performance and there's
yeah.
actually a good relationship amongst the brothers. I know that like I think Jackie had a car accident. We had an injury during this
Mm,
tour. So I think there was some I mean during the tour for Triumph, which was like 81. But for the most part, it was like it felt like a really happy thing in
yeah.
comparison to the stories that you hear about the Victory
Victory,
tour. The
which we'll
promoter,
hopefully see in the film. Yeah.
yeah, crazy. You know, I think the original promoter was a guy called Chuck Sullivan, and then they brought in Don King, and bringing in Don King brought in all kinds of palaver. And I think at that point he was just done because it was on the Victory tour that he announced. I think it was in Dallas, and he was like, "Yeah, this is our final show. This is our curtain call." And he
Well,
never told the brothers. He'd never
well,
told them.
he just released the biggest album in the world,
I
and yet
know.
he's been forced to tour with his brothers.
Yeah, to
You
keep
know,
them afloat, because they've been, and this is respect to all of them, big respect to Jackson Brothers, but this is just facts. Like they weren't without Michael and without the group, they weren't able to earn the same. So, you know, fans have always done this hypotheses of what it would have been like if Michael had just toured by himself during for Thriller, if he'd just done a tour by himself. And what that could have been like. But then we probably wouldn't have gotten the bad tour. We probably wouldn't have
I
even
think
got
the
bad.
bad, yeah, and the fact that the bad tour was at the time the biggest tour ever. Taylor Swift and Beyonce have just recently come up to that level, but
Mm,
this is quite different now because tours and the money they make, they're charging a lot more. But to sell out Wembley for 8, 7 nights,
crazy.
was unheard of, and he probably could have kept doing it if he didn't have the rest of the world. Um, but
Yeah.
but there's something about doing the Triumph Tour and the Victory Tour that takes away
Mm,
pressure. It takes away that pressure because
yeah.
it just allows him to shine in parts as well.
Mm.
Um, going back to the album. So I know we just spoke about um, Your Ways. What
Your
about
Ways.
Everybody?
It's my favorite song on the album. It's
Oh,
my
wow.
favorite song on the album. It reminds me so much of Get on the Floor, but not for obvious reasons. I think it's the slap bass. Sorry, I've just seen something what Roberta Lane has said, and yes, that is true. If you read Michael Jackson, The Magic and the Madness, Randy Taraborelli talks about this. So this thing is true, and about and it's in relation to Jackie's car accident and all that type of stuff. Anyway, I digress. I just wanted to highlight that. But Everybody is my favorite song off the album. It's got the same kind of sonic fingerprints as Get on the Floor, the slap bass. Like it just, I think it's the most fun vocal that Michael's doing.
The most fun vocal.
Yeah, it's the most fun vocal, and I just love it. And I think that bass is Mike McKinney, because he was their bass player that came on. I think he was like Stevie Wonder's bass, or he was on tour with Stevie Wonder, and then he auditioned for Michael and Marlon. And then I think they wrote, they started working on songs during the Destiny tour, and then they wrote this together. But Everybody's my favorite song. It's joyful. The vocals are great. The arrangement's great. And it's just funky as hell. Really love it.
So I listened to Everybody and I said, this is what Justin Timberlake did in 2001, 2003, that with the Neptunes. And even when he did the Trolls movie, I'm like, so when the Neptunes are bringing, Pharrell were bringing to Michael these songs from Justin Timberlake, and he says, I did this back on the Tramp album. I don't need to sing the same songs.
Yeah.
But because you listen to it and he said, this is what they reinvented 2000, 2003. And yes, it was nice. It cooled that this time. But Michael said, I've already done this and I didn't really want to go back. Although he made a mistake, I think
he should have gone back. He should have gone back. He should have gone back, because with all respect to Justin didn't deserve them. Either you give it to Michael or you give it to Usher. Like, you give it to someone who is going to stay within the within the DNA of that. Because if you see when Justin went and did country and western, he's gone back to country and western and stuff. He was holidaying in black music. It was a holiday for him.
Yeah, but as I know, Zutos was saying that they don't like Justin Timberlake. I'm just saying, we're just saying that actually this album, this song, especially Everybody, is if you listen to what Justin did with Trolls and I know those albums, he was pretty much just remixing.
Yeah, he was doing a version. He was doing a version of what Michael did, particularly like Michael's vocal range, like the ability to just sing in your chest voice and then to go to like head voice and do that so easily and so beautifully. Everybody's a great example of like his vocal range and dexterity, and it's just, it's a feel good song because it's saying get down on the floor. And, it's just it shares a thematic similarity with Get on the Floor, because they're talking about similar things, but also the sonic quality as well, because you've got that slap bass and that funk element, and I love it. It's my favorite. I think it's my favorite song on the album.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about it's strange, I think, the fact that it was initially called Heartbreak Hotel and they had
it's the Elvis thing.
I'm like, you could call it, there's no copyright over the name of a song, but this was but you couldn't do that now. I could call a song Heartbreak Hotel and no one's going to come after me because it's not, you don't own the words, but it's amazing. Films are called the same thing. So it was interesting that
they changed it.
They changed it. What did you make of the song?
The song is, you could tell it's a Michael. I think it's like a sole Michael writing credit. I'm not 100% sure.
He wrote it himself,
which makes perfect sense because it is pure cinema. It's pure cinema, and it's actually quite tragic that they didn't film a video for it, because it feels like the one that is most deserving next to Can You Feel It of a video. If you think about the string intro, da 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 da, bam bam.
Did it remind you of Thriller a little bit?
it's very thrillerish, and then
Yeah.
you've got Latoya doing the scream. Latoya's doing that scream. You've got all these effects. You've got this like great percussion
Mm,
and mixing is so well mixed, and funky, lead guitar, and solo guitar pieces, and it
mm,
is the beginning. It shares like DNA with something like Billie Jean and
mm,
with Thriller, the title
mm.
track, because it's just like a kind of paranoid horror story, love story, all
Yeah.
combined, and you feel you're in a haunted house. I think, particularly at that time, naming a song the same as a classic song like Heartbreak Hotel, we think, in modern times, we don't view Elvis as, no disrespect to him, we don't look at him like the king in that way. He
Yeah.
feels
Yeah.
like a part of Americana, and he feels like something. He feels like a cutout at like an American diner versus
Yeah. Yeah.
someone who was this huge figure. But mind you, he's just died. Elvis died in 77. So he still looms large over
Yeah.
American
Yeah. So it
pop
makes
culture.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So they probably also didn't want to get sued, but calling it This Place Hotel, we know what it's called.
Yeah.
We know it's the only Heartbreak Hotel that I acknowledge. Yeah.
I would say that this is my all-time favorite Jackson song.
Mm.
I first
Oh,
heard
you said that. You said that last time, didn't you?
I
Yeah.
first heard this from, I'm a massive Heavy D and the Boys fan. So
Yeah.
this is Heavy D and the Boys had a song called Peaceful Journey, and they
Mm.
sample this. So I heard
Mm.
the Heavy D and the Boys version first, and I've always
Mm.
loved it. Dun, 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 you're on my mind, and I wish you a
Mm.
peaceful journey. Brothers, I
Mm.
hope you. So that was my favorite album. So
Mm.
I've always loved the song. So when I then heard the original version, I'm like floored, and just the story, the whole thing. And when I see the performance, it just engulfs me. It just engulfs me about the whole thing, and I'm like, man, what they could have done. And as I said, it was difficult to release this album
Mm.
in between Thriller. Thriller came out in '82.
82.
Off the Wall came out in '79.
79.
This came out in '80. So just imagine how much work Michael is doing, recording songs, performing, going on tour, doing a live
Yeah.
album, and
Yeah. Yeah.
just how packed it. One of the people want to know why he's the greatest of all times is because he was just working non-stop each year, recording
Yeah.
massive albums and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is I'm listening to. I'm thinking this is Thriller, but who was it? Someone just said that Rod Temperton said the Heartbreak Hotel was his inspiration for writing Thriller.
Yeah.
Which definitely can and watching them perform. When he does, if you watch the concert video, and he does the stuff that he does in that sort of when he does this almost like Indian
That
dance.
that kick step, that
Yeah,
dance, he does it in the Black or White video.
black and
He
white.
does it in all those. It's and do you know who did a really great modern
Thinking,
version of it that no one remembers? Labyrinth. In Labyrinth's first video for Let the Sun Shine. Watch that. Labyrinth does the same move. He does the same dance expertly.
Okay.
But yeah, you're right. When you watch live performances, particularly from the Bad video, the Bad tour rather, he does this song and he does that dance.
Yeah,
That
Man in the
kind
Mirror.
of
I think it's almost like there's just so much soul in him. He just needs to just
get it out.
he just needs
Yeah,
to kick it out and stuff.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I could talk about that song for a long time and stuff. Time Waits for No One.
Really beautiful song, and the only
Randy
kind of
and Jackie wrote it. No Mike.
yeah. It feels I always put it in it's not got the same scope as She's Out of My Life, like in terms of they don't do the exact same thing, but to just start lonely in my darkened room, sad and weary, persevering for love. Even the way his voice breaks on it, you could see like it's a similar thing that he does in She's Out of My Life, where where he cries at the end of She's Out of My Life. it's rare to get those vocal breaks from Michael of like, oh, my voice is cracking a little bit, but that's like by design. And I think it's a great way to start that song. And then they bring some percussion in, and it's and the message is true.
Mm.
Time waits for no one. But no, I really love this song.
Yeah, I
I really
like
do
the
love this
fact
song.
when they go all folksy as well, because
Mm,
this is a time when the 80s, where folk singers like the Carpenters and all these ones, everyone is singing, and they were experimenting
mm,
in their writing and singing. But to me,
mm.
the fact that Michael says, "Yeah, you guys write the song, and I don't mind singing it."
Yeah,
That shows a humility that he didn't have to do that. I mean, the fact that I
no,
could, yeah, as I said, it felt like even when you look at the picture, how they all there chilled and relaxed. It doesn't sound, because if you see them in Motown 25, when I never loved the fact when they were all hugging and then he kind of walked away from them quickly and he was putting on the gloves. I'm like,
yeah,
back then I was a kid, but I think going to how they were in Triumph, it just felt like this was a unit, and we
yeah.
love each other. And you write the song, fine, I'll sing. I don't need to write everything.
I think it's also by design. If you think about the cover and the covers with when they were on Epic, CBS/Sony, Michael's not the centerpiece of the
Mm,
photos.
mm.
Like in this one, you've got Randy is front, like center. Like obviously as fans, you're like, it's the Michael show. But I think there was a concerted effort to democratize the focus and like to spread it amongst the brothers as best they could. Like you knew you were coming for Michael, but like there was a not placing him front and center was
Mm.
kind of by design.
Yeah, but it also takes away pressure. I think if he doesn't, I think if he doesn't do Triumph, I don't think he can do Thriller. Won't be what it was.
Agreed.
I
Agreed.
think coming off the wall, doing 10 million, and that being a massive hit, one of the biggest R&B artist song album
Mm,
at the time, going back into do, and I think this is where people fall short when they come out with a massive album and
yeah.
they try and go straight and max and do the sequel, and it doesn't
Yeah.
come up. He does Triumph. There's no pressure. It's a family stuff, and then he's saving some of his learning stuff on the road, and then
Mm.
he takes a different energy into Thriller.
Yeah, it is a tough one. And I think the benefit that he had is that he had a group to go back to, you know what I mean, in between. So which was quite helpful at the time because thinking about we're talking about blockbuster albums, just for comparison, Usher didn't have a group. So when
Mm,
Usher did Confessions, which was a blockbuster,
mm,
he didn't have like some side project or separate project to kind of try some other stuff on and then come back because he did Confessions and then the next album was Here I Stand, which was like 5 years later. You see what I'm saying? And that album, I think I had Love in the Club, but the point being is that when you have a blockbuster, it's really difficult to top it. Like so Michael going from Off the Wall to Thriller is amazing. But then he also gave us Bad, which was amazing. It didn't sell as much as Thriller, but it did a pretty good job of going
yeah,
for those heights. But what you're saying is that he had that home base to go to in between albums. So
yeah.
it's like, all right, I'm gonna do Off the Wall, then I'll do Triumph, then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do Thriller, and I'm gonna do the ET storybook,
Then
and
you did
then
Victory.
yeah, then do Victory, and then okay, that went how it went, and then I'm gonna do the Captain EO soundtrack. I'm gonna do We Are the World, and then I'm gonna do Bad,
Mm.
and just having those projects in between was probably quite helpful.
Yeah, no,
Mm,
definitely, and I think it could have been, yeah, but I think his stardom was so big that the ability to go back to the brothers,
mm,
um, especially with I think that toxicity probably meant that he wanted to escape the brothers and the family because he felt like they were holding him back. So I think if his dad was different, I mean, dad had to be what he is to get them the opportunity.
Exactly.
But when Michael's the biggest selling person, you have to adapt to that. And if he had done so, it would have been, I think he could have been different for the brothers and the family.
It could have been, but I also think like that 80s fame and getting to that point is kind of like, and also the other interpersonal stuff that was going on, like the brothers are having affairs and there's all kinds of other drama. There's a lady called Gina Sprague or Spragg, however you say her name, and there's these allegations. She was an assistant of Joe, and it's alleged that that Randy and Janet and Miss Jackson went and had a polite a difficult conversation with this woman. So there's all these things, and then you get to Catherine's, I think it's her 50th birthday in 84, where Michael's in that silver suit and he's singing For the Good Times, the Al Green song. And there's so much going on in the background of that. That is, I think, just before the Victory Tour. And by that point, by 84, it's like, let me do this tour and get the hell out of here. Yeah. Because it's too much. I can't be around these people. I love them, but it's just too much. Yeah. But we've discussed this before. Ultimately, had Michael had some of his family around and still had them in the fold, he might still be here with us, or having people who could tell him, yo, you're doing wrong. You're doing wrong. You're doing wrong. If he had those people around him to tell him that, he might have been here, still.
Yeah. It's hard when you are, even now, he died in 2009. Mm-hmm. My oldest was not born when he died, but my youngest knows him, who was born in 2016. I don't know if there is, I mean, we're not talking religious figures, but any musician or stuff. My kids don't know Elvis. They don't know the Beatles. None of that matters. But to have somebody like that. So I wonder, it's hard to imagine when you're so big, and you've been in front of the camera since you was like 5 or 6 years old. How does somebody talk to you and tell you anything? Because you've been you've been singing and wowing people since you were, primary school. And you've then sold the most albums and all that stuff. You own half of Sony Music Publishing. You own the Beatles catalog. How can people talk to you and tell you stuff, and you're humble enough to listen and stuff? So
it's tricky, and hindsight is 2020, isn't it? But I've been talking about presidents a lot recently for obvious reasons. And if you look at any presidents through history, successful ones, unsuccessful ones, they will always keep people from the other side of the aisle around them to just say, look, we might not agree on stuff, but I need you to sharpen my steel. So you have someone with an opposing view, and or you have someone who's not going to tell you you're amazing every day. Someone who's going to be able to say to you, you might want to fix that, or you might not want to do that. So, but it's a tricky thing, and it takes I've just did the moonwalk on Motown 25. Why are you going to tell me anything? I don't want to hear your opinion about anything. I think Quincy was that figure for him, but by the time they got to Bad, it was like Quincy can't really tell me anything at this point,
Yeah, because I mean, at the time if you look at the video for Liberian Girl, all of Hollywood wanted to be in that's how massive he was. That's so yeah, and then he's a global star. People talk about Taylor Swift and Beyonce. Go to Nigeria and ask them. I mean, people might know Beyonce. I don't know,
but they're not really messing with Taylor Swift like that.
Yeah, but I
They're
know,
not
yeah,
crossing color lines. That's the thing about Michael. Like Taylor Swift
yeah,
is big in one part of,
yeah.
she has her
You're,
audience.
yeah, it's got the, yeah, yeah,
She has an audience, and I'd say like it's mostly white, and that's
yeah,
great, brilliant. But Michael was both sides. That was his power.
yeah,
He was United Colors of Benetton.
yeah,
It was everyone was messing with Michael.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, he went to, he did this massive Bucharest and is it Bucharest? He did a massive
mhm.
open air, 100,000 people showing up. I mean, that kind of stuff. Beyonce is not going to go to Bucharest and sell out a
Yeah,
field and stuff like that. So
yeah,
that
that was. I mean,
and
I don't
this,
want the
yeah.
beehive coming for me,
No,
but
no, no, no. It's
but
just
yeah, but I
their
hear you. Yeah,
levels, their levels.
yeah,
And this is before social media and all that stuff. So it's
all of
just the
that.
fact that it's hard for us to put it into context.
Mm.
Walk right now.
Walk right now, fine. Like kind of reminds me of Lovely One. Like it all these songs, and what's great about them is compliment. It's credit to putting an album together. They all feel like they are part of the same album. They all feel like that. It doesn't feel like, oh man, this should have been on something else. Whether it's the musicians that they're using or whatever, there's a continuity. So
What about the little disco break in the middle?
yeah. It's got
It's
that.
like the Love Boat kind of sound, like
Yeah,
a.
it's got that. It's got that, and it's cool. But like I said, I think I'm so biased for Destiny that the sound of this album, in some ways, like I never lived with it the same way. So
Okay.
yeah, but yeah, that it's a cool record, but it doesn't. It has never been like, oh, let me just put this on. Let me put this one song on, just a la carte. Whereas I felt like with Destiny, I can do that with individual songs. I can be like, let me just play this, and I can enjoy in its entirety as well. But yeah, this is cool. Like Walk Right Now is cool.
Okay. Ezekiel laughed when I mentioned the Love Boat.
I saw.
I mean, the Love Boat was massive when I was a kid with
It
the
was
kids.
huge. It was huge.
So it just reminded me of when you the little instrumental part. The next one, and actually Walk Right Now, Michael, Jackie, and Randy wrote that one.
Yes.
Um, the in track 8 was Give It Up, written by
Love this song.
Michael and Randy.
Love this song. Love this song. Love this song. Like there's a march element to it, and that even comes in. I mean, it's kind of like very kind of kick led, four on the floor kind of kick led song, and then you go into it's got this whole like drum thing, like marching band thing, and strings on top of that. I really love this song. Really
Sounds
love
like
it.
something the Beatles would do, when they it's almost like a Sergeant Pepper, that kind of.
Sergeant Peppery, yeah. But that's the military kind of element to it. But I really love this. Really love it.
And then
Yeah.
just Michael's his soulfulness when he's singing. It's just such a, yeah. I mean this is
There's
the
some
part that we
riffs and
missed.
runs. Sorry, go on.
I was just saying that when you listen to him, just his vocals here, you're like, man, why did he try and chase Janet's Rhythm Nation and just get all and just forget the essence of who he was, that soul? Because he started chasing, the music became much harder and became more music led, beat led, and
Yeah.
he left soul. So when we go to Butterflies, everyone's like, wow, what an amazing song,
Yeah.
because he went back and he didn't realize this is his last album. He didn't realize that, people actually love
This
the
is what people want to
vulnerability.
hear me on. But this is the thing. This is the honest truth of it. Michael, we talked about Michael's audience and the fact that he became bigger than just the black audience. And I think that was to his detriment to some degree. Because when you get that big and you're like, oh, well, these new fans who are also keeping the lights on, I need to make it palatable for them as well. Whereas Michael's the Jacksons are from the Chitlin circuit, man. They're from soul. They're from that tradition. They're from that. There was Papa Joe was driving that van round, Chicago and the Milwaukees and all that kind of, Detroit, all of that, mid-60s kind of thing, and I think whenever he tapped into the blackness, can't go wrong. It's when he went for pop supremacy. I mean this in the whitest, poppest sense of it. That's when it was like, oh man, he lost something. So with Butterflies, you're absolutely right. We've said it since probably the first conversation we had. That's him going back to Philadelphia. He's got roots in Philadelphia from the Gamble and Huff. So to go to modern Philly soul with Butterflies and hearing him do runs and riffing and tapping into that part of his voice, that's what we love. That's what we love. That's why Dangerous holds a real place in the black audience's heart, because of it's a New Jack Swing record for the most part, and it's groove, but it's soulful. That's an interesting question about him chasing the Control album.
It was Rhythm Nation actually.
Oh, Rhythm Nation, sorry.
Rhythm Nation, yeah. It's and he did it was, those of us who are massive fans, it was when he saw the whole thing with Janet, the whole military stuff, because he didn't do that before. He would wear the jackets, but he didn't do the whole
musically. He didn't do that. Yeah,
Rhythm Nation visually was a masterpiece. I remember being in Nigeria watching the whole video of Rhythm Nation, the movie, and the whole black and white and all that stuff. And who was I talking to? Chucky Booker, who was the music director for the Rhythm Nation tour. And he says that it was actually a cultural shift when she did the tour. People were changing their lives, and they were. It was more than just the music. It was about life-changing affirmation from that. And it did feel as if Michael saw that impact and thought, okay, this was, even though the Bad Out album and tour was massive, it didn't get the recognition at the Grammys. He got robbed because they felt
robbed, man.
Man in America should have won. The Way You Make Me Feel. So that he got robbed in the Grammys, and he went and did We Are the World. But it was almost as if, oh, maybe this is what they want. And then and he wanted Dangerous, the beats and the sonically to be like that. And it was nice, but I think I missed the soulfulness of Thriller and Off the Wall and Triumph and Destiny, where we didn't lose the essence of this soulful man.
I just want to tap into what Boulder 2009 is saying, because he says, I don't fully agree with this take. MJ was curious about sonics and deeply interested in sound design and the contrasting colors and textures. He wanted to go deeper into futuristic sounds. I think that's all good and well, but like when you're hearing stories about Rodney Jerkins saying, go out and find some sounds and bang on some trash cans. I'll be honest, I didn't care for that on the Invincible album. I just wanted good songs. I don't want to hear, like, when you hear songs like Unbreakable, which are so, this is my analogy. There's probably a lot of Americans here, so they might not know this reference, but Crystal Maze. Crystal Maze, you had the different zones. You had the industrial zone, you had the future zone, you had the Aztec zone, and it's like Michael Jackson's later career is like he kept on going into the future zone and the industrial zone. It's like, yo, I just want bangers. I don't care that you've gone out and you've banged on a trash can for hours, because with Quincy, and this is the sort of discipline and that school that they're from, Quincy wouldn't talk too much about how he achieved certain sounds or the techniques. It was always about the songs first. It was always about the songs, and it was always about the songs from a structural and a technical perspective, like are you dropping things by a third to
Mm.
accommodate the higher range, all of that type of stuff. The music, let me sort the music out, Michael.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do that because that's what I do.
yeah,
Like I'm Quincy Jones, and like him getting into worrying about the sounds, no one by that point no one cared, because when you listen to a song like Unbreakable, for instance, or even Invincible, the title track, which both sound really similar. That first three song run on Invincible,
yeah, yeah,
from
yeah.
Unbreakable, Heartbreaker, and Invincible, they sound like the same song.
Mm, mm.
And it's like no one plays. I mean, I play them because I love Michael,
Yeah,
but they're not like Michael staples,
yeah.
if you
And
see
I
what I'm saying.
when I told Rodney that at in 2001 you had moved away from that. He personally had moved away from that song.
Yeah,
If that album had come out in 99, 98, we would have had a different appreciation for the songs. But
yeah,
he kept them too late, and Michael just
yeah,
released the album late.
yeah.
But I think because that album would tell you that if you listen to Break of Dawn, Heaven Can Wait, and Butterflies, there was that's the Michael that people said, oh man.
Mm. And you know what? Heaven Can Wait. It's really funny how Gen Z have taken to that song, because the amount of covers and vocal a cappella covers that I've
I just
seen,
saw one recently. Yeah.
because at its core, it's so refreshing to hear Michael on that kind of production. Dr.
Mm.
Freeze produced Heaven Can Wait, I believe.
No, he
And it
did.
was
He did Break It Dawn. There's Phonetic, who did the song for Queen Pin, the Anastario, the one with Queen Pin.
party ain't a party till it's ran
No, no,
all
not Queen
through.
Pin. Little Kim and Little C. Remember the
Oh, Crush on You?
Crushing You. So
Crush
Phonetic,
on You.
who did that production, did
Mm.
Heaven
Okay,
Can Wait.
fine. Fine,
Yeah,
fine,
yeah,
fine, fine, fine. Thank you. But with Heaven Can Wait and Break of Dawn, they're Michael going back to
yeah.
what
The roots.
what
Yeah.
what made him effectively. But Heaven Can Wait, it's no surprise that Gen Z have latched onto those songs, and none of the other ones. I've not seen anyone do anything about Privacy, that song, or
Yeah,
Lost
yeah.
Children, or
2000. Yeah, no,
Cry.
no.
It's
I
like
mean,
2000
just
watts.
listen to the lyrics. If the angels come for me, I'll tell them no.
Tell them
I
no.
don't want to leave my baby alone.
And that's just,
It's
yeah, that's just classic R&B songwriting. And I think Michael at his best is like, I'm gonna give you a few sprinkles of like,
Mm.
I'm gonna give you some world songs that the world can hear, but like at his artistic best, it's like, yo, I'm gonna give something for the black audience, just to be
Mm.
really brutal about it. And when he did that, it's like you get magic. You really,
Oh,
really do get magic.
whatever happened, whatever happens. Also, he did with Carlos Santana. He didn't know
Whatever
where
happens
feeling.
was great. I would disagree with Zoo Tours. I don't think Invincible. Sorry, do I think it was a very black album? I don't know, man. When you've got songs like "Cry" and "Lost Children" and "Don't Walk Away," which are just like, what are
No,
we doing here?
yeah.
What
So
are we
yeah,
doing here?
so Rodney did say, because I said Rodney, well, 15. So he said it was supposed to be 10 songs,
10
and
songs would have been perfect.
and then Michael just added five this, and I was like, come on, Little Susie, and he did,
Oh no,
and then
Little Susie's Earth is history, and I actually
no, it's
really
not Little
like Little
Susie.
Susie.
No, yeah, okay, Don't Walk Away.
Yeah,
He was just adding stuff, and
he was
it
adding, yeah.
dilutes it and stuff like that. But we were just, I think we got here just to say that if the guy who sang "Who's Loving You" when he's about 9, 10 years old, if he could sing that well that young, he showed that even when he did "Lady in My Life," he can bring something sultry, and he
He
does
can.
it in Butterflies. To say he
Mm,
can still sing in that range, I
mm,
think he didn't realize that was the range that everyone started chasing, and
Mm.
he walked away from it. But when he got back to it, it was like, oh, but it was too late because he and Sony had the little fallouts and stuff, and
Yeah, but
they couldn't.
also, yeah, they couldn't put it together. Also, look, just being really honest, like his powers had waned in the US by that point. Like Michael Jackson was still the hugest artist in the world,
Mm.
and public figure, but in terms of selling records, he was 40 something. He was like 43. Yeah, he would have been 43 when that album came out. And historically, it's really difficult for someone in their early 40s to appeal to the record buying public in that juggernaut way, the same way a 25-year-old could. But also, if you're off the back of like the 1993 thing, he
Yeah,
like
yeah,
like off of the Chandler allegations, that was already like his power in the US wasn't what it was as a
yeah,
global
yeah,
megastar, of course, but um so that by that
yeah,
invincible point, he just wasn't
yeah.
the
I mean,
same beast.
yeah, and I moved to America in '92. So when
Mm.
at 90 in '92 he did '93 he did the Super Bowl.
Ah,
He was at the Grammys and he
he
got the
did
live.
Oprah. He
He
did the
did
Oprah
the Oprah,
interview.
yeah, he did the
I remember
Oprah.
staying
So
up. I
yeah,
remember staying up to watch a little bit of it. And my auntie said, "Go to bed. I'll tape it for you. I'll
yeah,
tape it."
yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah.
a huge, huge thing.
Yeah, so that was that beginning of the year. He was at that peak. Everyone loved him in America.
Mm,
And this was when the whole setup came up. It shocked all of us. Helicopters all around, and it was really at this point in time he had a stranglehold on the publishing, and this was
yeah,
the beginning of that.
yeah.
Yes, okay. I don't want us to digress. We still have wondering who
Wondering who.
written by Randy and Jackie both wrote it.
Yeah. I mean, this is a fine way to end the album. And again, I suppose I still have my Destiny bias. So this album, as because I know a lot of fans love this album a lot, and I think it is amazing. But I'm so like, this felt, again, using the pun again, it felt like a victory lap for them versus like what I feel was a real artistic highlight. Destiny for me is like a no skip album in the truest sense of it. But I think Wondering Who's a great way to end the album.
It was a funky, it had the music, and I was talking to my son about this, and I said, just listen to the musicality. What's going on here? The musicality
Mm,
of the track, and yeah, just the yeah, just the it's richness of the track. I
mm,
thought, normally, and I think if you think about Thriller, um, if you listen to if you got the Thriller album that had the commentary with Quincy
hmm.
talking about, yeah, Carousel was a beautiful song, we couldn't fit
Carousel.
Carousel and we couldn't fit it in, so
Yeah.
we had to cut it. I'm thinking, so they were very purposeful about what we put on the album. This is a 44-minute album.
Mm,
It had 9 songs. So what they're saying is it was quality, and
mm,
for it to be an epic album, it has to
mm.
just be just right. We just don't put songs on just because
For the sake of it,
for the
can't put
sake of it.
records on for the sake of it. And like, you're right, using Carousel as an example is a great example, because that was also written by the Toto guys, I think. The Picaro brothers wrote that. But because you had Human Nature, you can't have Carousel. This kind
Mm,
of
I mean, but that was,
otherworldly.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that just shows you how much of how much thought they put into the album, and then we go further on, and it was like, yeah, we just putting 20 songs on there, or just 15 songs, it just fillers on the album, and then you that's why I said my all-time favorite album is Make It Last Forever. 8 songs, love them. Thriller
Yeah.
comes in second, just so, because when there's no skips, you can appreciate, you can love them the same way you love your Destiny. It's like there's too many songs, and you're skipping, and then you're losing interest, and
Yeah.
it
But
lowers
the
it down.
big problem, the sort of common denominator with all of these things, yeah, is the format. The
Oh,
reason
yeah.
why Gorilla got amazing quality control was, there's that story of the first pressing they did, and it was terrible because they put too many songs on it and the grooves were really thin. So they took off
Mm.
songs like Hot Street and all these other kind of like B level songs, which they just sound like um 80s songs, like Andre Simone kind of songs that anyone could have sang. But then when you get into the 90s and you're dealing with CD,
CDs, yeah.
let's just put 80 minutes of music because we can. Because we can. And that's the problem. If you know that each side you can realistically have 20 minutes of good quality music, because if vinyl is the dominant form of recording, we're selling records in vinyl, and we know that vinyl, you're going to get maybe 15, 20 minutes of good quality per side by having these big grooves on the record so everything sounds fat. Great. So we have to limit it. Instead of, like, by the time you get to CD, let's just ram everything on there. And like
Yeah.
half of it is filler. We're going to have
Yeah.
some skits.
Yeah.
And it's like, whereas the album as a statement declined, for some artists, the album as a statement declined,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I mean, so I know you've keep talking Destiny,
Mm.
but what would you, out of a 10, would you give Triumph?
Oh, this is a good 8-9. This is a good 8-9, man. It's hard to go wrong. Some people will give it a 10, but for me, Destiny ranks higher because it was, I think there was more at stake with Destiny. Like, if Destiny hadn't been a success, they might have been out of here, you know? They might have been out of here as a group. And I think this was, I keep on using the word victory lap. This was like, okay, cool. We know what we're doing. So it's an 8-9 for me.
Yeah, I think you're right. The fact that you know y- they had to make, they didn't do well with um,
The
the
first one, yeah, and
Jackson
then
studio
going
album, then
places.
Going
Yeah,
Places. It
yeah.
was, and they had all these other sounds, and then they did Destiny mostly by themselves,
Hmm.
and it's let me see, certifications. Yeah, it does about 2 or 3 million worldwide, and then um there is definitely an air of confidence, because after they do Destiny, Michael does Off the Wall, that blows up, and so they
Yeah,
come to Triumph, which does over 10 million. It was a massive, um,
big time.
it was a massive sort of stuff, and then you know, and people will say, a lot of people would tell you that Triumph will be their favorite,
Mm.
um, definitely because of some of the songs that they remember of it. Even the live album did over 1 million, but unfortunately, um, y- y- people would always remember them for victory. Oh, sorry. I think Victory becomes, unfortunately for people, is like, oh, Victory was their last Jackson albums, and we didn't
Yeah.
like that, and
Before
but
23, I mean, there was 2300 Jackson Street, but no one really brings that
that
up.
was
No one
Jermaine came
really.
back and took control of that, because
Yeah,
Marlon left, Randy left, so it was
yeah,
Jermaine that came back, and
yeah,
he pretty much took control of that. And they had
yeah,
they had two Teddy songs, which was 2300 Jackson Street and
yeah.
She, but then they had the LA and Babyface and Nothing Compares to You, which was actually Nothing Compares to You, and I don't mean nothing. You're so bad, and I as um, nothing, and I don't mean nothing.
Yeah, yeah.
Nothing that compares to you. Yeah, which I
And
think
they had no
actually,
Michael vocals on that. It was just only on 2300 Jackson Street. They had Michael, and I think they even had Reby on there.
yeah, Reby starts it
Yeah,
off.
yeah,
Janet is on it.
yeah,
I think Latoya, they're all
yeah,
on that track.
yeah.
Um, which was good, and yeah, and it's, as I said, um, I think if things, you always wish that they could have reunited with another album, somewhere.
You know, they
Um,
were going to go on tour in like someone was trying to put a tour together in like 1990.
oh,
A guy who worked for the Moonies, the Korean church, I think his name was Kenneth Choi. I think his name was. He was trying to basically, he was like handing out $1 million and Rolls Royces to anyone who would give him access to Michael. He tried to give $1 million to Frank Dillio, and Frank Dillio was like, "Nah, not doing it," because they were trying to bring the Jacksons to Korea
mm.
for a tour, and obviously Joe was gung ho about it, but Michael was like, "No." So he's like, "No, like I'm done." And there is that hilarious thing about that Paris Jackson has been doing a lot of. There's a thing of Michael Jackson saying, "I love to tour." That video.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
do you know
Laughing.
what it is about that video? Do you know what's really funny about that video? I don't think it's as funny as everyone thinks it is, because
Oh,
I
you
know
do?
this. I know the sentiment behind that video. That video and all the footage from that, it was released after the Bashir documentary on this film, on this video called Michael's Home Videos, because he and his team were like, we need to counter this Bashir documentary. So we want to
Ah.
do some footage of you seeming normal and funny. So it felt, because I know the context of it, everything in that footage is like a bit forced. And
This wasn't the one, because I know on the after the Bashir one, they then released a video that showed when he stopped recording that he's like, yeah, that was
all of
good.
that, yeah. He,
Was that
he,
on
he,
the
he
same?
That's part of it. That's part of it. They put a
Okay.
package to counteract that. But anyway,
Yeah,
there is
yeah.
that footage of Michael being like,
Oh, I
"I
love
love to
to,
tour."
and he
Yeah,
was like, yeah, right. I hate touring and
yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that.
It's interesting though, isn't it? Because like he vowed that the bad tour would be his last tour, and then Dangerous happened, and in order to sell the record, you need to tour, and then he
Mm.
still did the history tour, so he
History
was
tour.
never not touring. But
Yeah,
you
the
know,
issue for me was the when he did the Dangerous tour, because
mm,
I was in the States, and because of this whole incident, he didn't bring. There was no US leg of
no,
the tour,
no.
and he never toured in the US again.
Never toured in
And
the US.
the most we ever got from him was the MTV performance for the history, where he did Dangerous,
95,
and
yeah,
yeah,
he did
that was the
Dangerous.
most, the anything he performed on the soil.
Yeah, and then he
Uh,
did, I suppose he did an MTV Music Awards appearance in like 2001 with NSYNC, where he comes out of the Etch a Sketch. Do you remember that?
Yeah, with Pop, yeah, for the song Pop.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Dirty Pop,
it's
yeah,
great. But I'm just saying that we never, I never, the 10 years I lived in the States, he did stop touring, and he was
yeah,
touring in Europe. And when I moved to the Europe, yeah, and I
yeah.
had the tickets for the This Is It tour. Sadly, he passed and stuff. Um, so guys, I we definitely appreciate you watching and stuff, and the fact that this was definitely um, uh, um definitely people would say this was the peak. I would say that it felt the most loved. I think there
Mm.
was no pressure compared to Destiny, and I
No,
think he felt as free. And even though Michael had done his off the wall, I think in hindsight, doing this album took away the pressure to go create Thriller. I think if there's no Triumph, there's no Thriller. As
agreed.
is, I think he felt, he's writing here, he's sharing the spotlight, he's touring with his brothers, and Thriller became the massive hit. Whether we do have to finish off with Victory before the movie comes out. I know that might be a painful one to listen to and stuff.
Oh, yeah, you might have to get AI to do that one. Yeah, Victory's a tricky one, isn't it? Yeah, but Body's a good song from Victory. I do like Body. I do like that. I do like that.
Yeah, But anyway, so you're coming back to the UK shortly and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Um, and yes, for those who don't know me, you can see Akenji's Instagram account, pretty much his surname. So do search for him on IG. He
yes,
has
please.
he has just finished his Black Ops season two, which
Yeah.
is should be on BBC iPlayer, but is it out in America yet?
Series two will be out soon. It's on Hulu. Series one's on Hulu, and I can confirm that because I've been looking on the Hulu app and like it is actually there. So series two's out, and yeah, watch it, man. So hopefully we can come back and do another one.
And
Yeah.
you just you starred in a BAFTA nominated
Yes,
film.
I was in the Ballad of Wallace Island, which came out last year, and it's done really well. So it's done really really well. So it's great to be in that project, and there's other things cooking up, and when they're ready to be served, when we're ready to play up, we'll let you know. But just keep watching this space for updates.
And your music, the fact that people
Yes,
will notice that you do,
I do
singing and
have music. I
producing.
do have music. So if you just type my name into iTunes or Spotify, my music will come up. And I'm trying to release. I have so much music in my archives, and I'm just putting it out there, trying to die empty, as Jazzy Jeff says. Yeah.
Definitely.
So, so
And
keep watching that space.
yes, and I think I didn't get to we didn't get to speak since the
Mm.
Oscars. And as an
Oh
actor
yeah,
yourself, what did you
yeah.
make of the fact that Michael B. Jordan overtook Timothy Chalamet, who most people thought probably carried the film and should have won instead of Michael B. Jordan for Sinners?
No, I thought it was exactly as it was supposed to be. I saw Marty Supreme, but I also saw Uncut Gems, and Uncut Gems. Marty Supreme was Uncut Gems in the 1950s with a less
Okay.
sympathetic lead character. And look, I'm sure Timothy's a nice guy, all of that good stuff. Michael B. Jordan did what he was supposed to do. Like Sinners, actually, I thought the conversation actually was between Sinners and One Battle After Another for best film of the year. I know a lot of people from my own community culture don't like One Battle After Another for various reasons, very valid reasons. But I'm a Paul Thomas Anderson fan, and
Mm.
I thought it was a masterful film for so many reasons. And I would, happy to have conversations with people offline about it. But Sinners is part of the Black DVD collection now. It just is. It's one of those
Mm.
films that is so rewatchable, and a lot of people have felt comfortable coming out of their mouths and saying like, "Oh, I don't get Sinners. I think it was overrated." That's cool. It wasn't made for you. It
Mm.
just wasn't made for you. So
Mm.
Sinners is one of those films that amongst ourselves, and when I say ourselves, I mean the black ourselves, we can watch it, and there's so many unspoken things that you just understand. And people have called it derivative of From Dusk Till Dawn and all that type of stuff. And I just think that's a very sophomoric review and evaluation of it. It's a brilliant film, and Ryan Coogler is a master filmmaker. And also think what Michael B. Jordan has to do in that film is amazing. I thought what Wumi Masaku did was brilliant. Wumi Masaku just stands out. You've got Delroy Lindo, you've got young Miles Canton or Caton, Miles
Mm.
Caton. You've got Haley Steinfeld, you've got Omar Benson Miller, an
Yeah.
amazing cast
Yeah.
of people, and it was just a brilliant film. And I do think,
Yeah.
look, it was up there for best film for film of the year. It didn't win, could have easily won. I thought One Battle After Another was a great film,
Yeah.
but I'm happy for Michael B. Jordan. I felt like I'd won because Michael B.
Okay.
Jordan kind of represents my age group in a really cool way. And a lot of people have grown up with him, from whether it was
Mm.
him on Hardball with Keanu Reeves or him on The Wire. I think he did that film Chronicle about like the superhero film.
Oh
Like,
yeah, 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 yeah.
he,
And I
he's,
and did
he,
it.
he, he's a bad boy, and Ryan Coogler's a bad boy as well, and I'm really happy for them. So congratulations. I think Michael B. Jordan deserved that. Timothy Chalamet, I'm sure, is a capable, talented actor. He's a great actor, all of that type of stuff. I kind of think maybe he was doing too much with the rollout of it, because the film has nothing to do with the stuff that he was promoting it as. So he's doing a bit of blackface. He was doing a bit of blackface with it. Like, I'm just like, why do you need to be doing rap videos? What's that got to do with Marty Supreme, a film that's set in the 50s? Like, stop playing in my face. You don't need to do blackface for me to come and watch the film. I'll watch it because I like the Safdie Brothers films. Cool. You don't need to. Why are you pandering to me to try and get people that look like me to come to your film? That's what I felt anyway. That said, I just think Michael B. Jordan's performance and that film in general is going to sit in my DVD collection for a lifetime. Versus, I think Marty Supreme was cool, but I might just watch it the once and keep it moving. One battle after another, I watched several times, and that's another one because I'm a big Paul Thomas Anderson fan. Like Boogie Nights, Magnolia, The Master, all of Licorice Pizza. So yeah, to your point, I'm very happy with that.
And then finally, what have you made of British SNL?
Amazing. I mean, what I've seen of it, really amazing, and congrats to all of them.
What in the US? Are they watching it there?
No, I've seen clips of it. I've seen clips of it. So,
your friend's on it.
Yeah, Hamid's in it. So I'm biased. Hamid's in it, and he's killing it. And also Kevin Mayolo is who I know is in it. He's a producer and director. So Kevin's working on that as well. Kevin worked with me on Famalam and other things, so he's involved. And yeah, it's like, look, we have this habit of before something comes out, particularly something as iconic and ubiquitous as SNL, the standard sentiment is to be like, oh, this isn't going to work. And I think it's great that they had the underdog status and that they defied everyone's expectations. And it's good. Sky have made a great investment. James Longman, who I know, who's producing it, he's done a great job. And big up to Hamid, man. I'm proud of him. I'm really proud. So it's good.
It's good. Okay, guys. So we'll try and do something else before Michael's film comes out, April 22nd. Especially as the film will cover the Jackson albums. Even leading up to the Victory Tour. It's in the trailer. It's in the trailer. So we'll find a way of trying to trying to talk about the album, just so that when you are watching the film, just as so when you are watching it, you may have, it might bring some context and stuff. But anyway, for everyone, we appreciate you joining us, and we will definitely catch you at another time.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of Halftime Chat. Please remember to subscribe, share, and comment. But most importantly, why don't you become a member of Halftime Chat? We've got amazing videos, amazing perks, and being able to support the channel. But anyway, thanks for watching. Take care.
I never participated in that category.
Somewhere in between us, or even loving us, on which I didn't miss you.
What was it like growing up?
She's still making an impact on 4 houses down.
I have a couple of pieces.
I didn't get this one and that one.
That works for you, but just for me,
No. Okay,